Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited for part 4 of Yoga for Emotional Wellbeing online. I've got a lovely little routine today to give to you, and let's start right now with some tapping. So I don't know what's going on this week, but a lot of people are telling me they're feeling stressed and things are just a bit agitated or stirred up, or we're in pain more. So let's tap on the topic for today, which is accepting. So let's try and accept where we're at, but in order to do that, in order to have acceptance, we first have to acknowledge where we're at. So if you've had a difficulty this week, you've had some sort of pain or suffering, anything really, I want you to just hone in on that one thing. So not too many things, because we can't accept it all at once, and we're just going to basically acknowledge where we are at. So thinking of your difficulty, take a moment here, think about how that feels, what it looks like in your body or in your mind, what thoughts are attached. Is there a memory in particular that you're going to tap on today, or is it more of a story, thought, belief, or even just the feeling? That can be just fine. It might even have an image or a color or a shape. So let's start here on our karate chop point. So even though I have this difficulty, suffering, feeling, you pick, use your words, I accept this is where I'm at. Even though I have this feeling, difficulty, pain, suffering, I accept this is how I feel. Even though I have this, I accept this is where I'm at. And let's tap on that feeling, thought, story, memory. Start of the eyebrows. Tapping on the end of the eye, just noticing that, acknowledging that, under the eye, just notice it, under the nose, that difficulty, emotion, stories, whatever's happened to you, on the chin, on the chest, to the arm, just noticing and acknowledging just that side of the arm there. And top of the head. And a comfortable breath. So join me on the mat for part 4, accepting. Thank you for joining me. I'm so thrilled to have you. Let's work on some self-acceptance, shall we? Now it could really be other people, it could be the situation, it could be ourselves or our bodies or our minds, whatever it is. Let's just work on some self-kindness, taking this time for yourself to be a little bit compassionate, and hopefully by the end of it you feel more accepting. So we're going to start lying down in reclined fish. So you will need a cushion, a block, a blanket. I'm going to use a rolled up blanket here, so it's creating a little lift in our shoulder blades. Something fairly firm, so a cushion rolled up perhaps, or a block if you have one is great, and you will need to support your head as well if you have neck issues, but if you don't, let it all just hang out here in supported fish. So coming down on our shoulder blades here, adjusting as needed, and we're just going to open out wide. Let the heart space. I really appreciate this completely different posture. Legs can be straight or bent. And you may notice this is just like letting the universe receive, because we don't really do this sort of a pose very often. So let's take a few breaths and settle into the mat. Let all the stress go here. Doesn't that feel great? Breathing into any tension, tightness. Don't do it if it's painful, of course. Never hurt yourself. But accepting that there may be tightness or stiffness, and let's try and be just okay with where your body or mind is today. So to deepen this pose, you might even like to do a butterfly, so ankles together, Thighs come out. You can support thighs with cushions or blocks if you like, because it's quite strong. So it's basically a hip opener and a heart space opener at the same time. So a couple more breaths here. This can be quite strong. And to come out of the pose, we will lift the thighs and roll to one side to remove our chest. Maybe coming back down for one more little butterfly here. Flat backed. Beautiful. And supporting legs to come up. So maybe even, let's alternate legs here. So it's like a alternating leg wind release pose, keeping our spine connected with the mat here. And let's even maybe deepen that movement by creating a bit of a core. So lifting our shoulder blades and chest off the ground and moving with that movement. Beautifully strong, activating on the core. Breathe as you move. Lovely. And let's rest for a moment. Lovely, feeling all that energy starting to flow here. And we can try doing some windshield wipers, just side to side. You might even like to go a little bit slower actually, because you get the benefit out of the movement when you move with your breath. Left, right, warming up here. And back to center. Align the spine. Big breath. We're going to make sure there's some weight in our hands here, weight in our heels. We're just going to lift the spine for a little bridge. Inhale to come up, maybe tuck the shoulders back. Lift the heels and exhale to roll the spine down to a full wind release. So both knees come to chest, maybe a little side to side. That feels good. So heels come back to ground now. So when both heels are on the ground, we're going to do a little hip opener here that's a little bit tricky to describe. So we're basically putting one foot tucked under the other foot there. So it's like we did before with the butterfly, except it's one hip is opening, so one leg is out. The other one is just sitting there with the heel on the floor. So that can be enough. So you can stay right there. That's a lovely hip opener. It's quite an unusual bunch of muscles that get spacious in this. Or if it feels okay for you, you can lift that leg towards the chest. And you might even be able to grab the foot and the knee at the same time, deepening that feeling. Couple of breaths in that pose. Wonderful for hip flexors. And we'll release. And we'll try the other side. If you want longer on any of these, you have the power to pause. So both knees, both feet are on the ground. We're just tucking that foot behind the bent leg's heel. You might even be able to grab that foot. Now, so you can stay right here, or if you would like to deepen it, you can lift that knee towards you. So it's like one hand is on the knee and one hand is touching the foot on the ground. So that should feel really nice. We don't do a movement like that very often. Breathing into any tension, exhaling any stress. Gorgeous. So placing the foot back down, both feet on the ground. One more bridge here. Feet are planted firmly on the ground, hands making contact with the earth. We're just going to lift the hips here. Nice. Little counter stretch on the hips and the spine, and then lift the heels to roll the spine all the way down. One last hug, knees to chest. And then as the legs come forward, we're going to sit up with our legs. So if you would like to do a little rock and roll here, you can go back and forth. Or if they that's a bit too strong on your spine, you can just use your legs to hinge up. Go with what feels good in your body. So feet are planted on the ground here. We're just going to do a little round of the spine on the exhale. Inhale to arch and lift the chin. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. One more. Exhale to round, look down. And inhale to arch, lift the chin. Lovely. So let's slide back here. Legs are straight, toes are flexed, nice and long in the spine. You can, by all means, you can elevate your hips here because stick pose ain't always that great on everyone's hips, but we're just going to do a forward fold over our legs here. So nice, inhale, lengthen the spine, tuck the chin, and exhale to forward fold over those legs. Hands can just be wherever they meet. Let's be accepting. And exhale to go a little deeper. Beautiful. And on the next inhale, support yourself to come up. So we're going to try a reverse tabletop here. Let's really switch things up here. So be accepting of whatever comes. We're going to lean back on our wrists. I mean, that's a nice little wrist stretch. Actually, I'll probably do that. So let's lean back on our wrists here. And we're going to plant the feet. And we're basically going to lift the hips once more, but we're going to look like a reverse table, really. So inhale and exhale to hold for a minute. This is lovely on our shoulders and wrists. And exhale to come down. Would you like to try that one more time? So plant the hands, plant the feet, lifting up. And exhale, reverse tabletop. Feet come out straight once more. Again, support hips if you would like just that little bit more height, can feel really good. I'm going to bring one leg in here, just creating a little bit of pressure with the foot and the thigh. Getting nice and stable on our sit bones. We're going to inhale once more, coming down towards the foot, the shin, the thigh. Don't have to go all the way. And this is similar to the forward fold over our leg we did before, but it opens up the hips and the back at the same time. Looking down or wherever it feels comfortable for your neck. And slowly coming up, supporting your weight. We'll try the other side. Shake. Foot comes into the thigh here. A little bit of pressure. Making sure we feel stable. Inhale and exhale. Go to wherever your body tells you. It's all about just accepting wherever you are. Little smile to yourself. Lovely. Coming up here. Leg comes back to the front, little wiggle again. So we're going to into a wide-legged fold this time. I'm going to turn around, but you don't have to. So we're basically putting legs into a V. They can be wherever feels okay for you. Once more, elevating hips if this doesn't feel right in those hip flexors. So pointed toes to the ceiling. Let's try and go side to side. So we're just basically putting an elbow to our thigh here. We're just going to lift one arm over the top. So palms are pointing down here. And as we exhale, you might notice you go a little deeper. And then inhale, back to center. And we'll go the other way. So elbow is down, the palms over the other side of the side body. Exhale, might even go a little deeper here. Lovely, we'll do that one more time. That should feel beautiful on your ribs and the side of your lungs. Lovely. So getting tall once more. We're going to inhale, get the length, and exhale, come forward. Don't have to go all the way, just where your body feels good. We're just going to lean and cross the legs and sit down here once more, keeping those hips elevated if you need. Just going to take a breath. And let's do another side bend here. So elbow is sort of pointing towards the ground here. And this one comes over the side. Lovely side stretch. Exhale, let's go the other way. Palms are facing down. Beautiful, back to center. And perhaps even a little twist here. So hand to knee. Keeping the length in the spine. Let's go the other way. Looking over the back shoulder. Looking to the front to untwist. Lovely. So from here, we're going to try a side plank. So coming into a normal plank first on the mat. So that can be on elbows or on wrists, whatever works for you. So this is plank. You can do it on your elbows, or you can do it on your knees as well. It's just the same benefit. Core is still tucked in. And we're going to just feel the strength in our body here. Shoulders are over the wrists. And we're just going to rotate here. Now if you're on your knees, you just rotate like that. If you're on your toes, you can rotate sideways. And if you're on your elbows, you can do exactly the same move, opening up the side body there. It's very strong. Give yourself a lot of gratitude for trying this out. And we're going to go the other way. So if you're on toes, you just maybe support your feet. They can be on top of each other, but I find it's easier with two in a line. If you're on your knees, elbows. So find that position that feels good for your body. We'll come back to center. A little push up to the ground here, elbows in. And let's take rest. So untucking the toes, making sure the soles of the feet are on the floor. We'll put our hands in front and take a moment. So let's place the hands under our shoulders here. We're just going into a normal tabletop. So that's a neutral spine, knees are hip width apart, wrists under shoulders here, so just like a neutral position. And we'll try some hip circles. We're really opening up and finding all different places today. So we're just going to do circles with our knees. Circles, big ones, little ones, go with what feels okay. Maybe change directions. And back to ground. Try the other knee. So circle. Big ones or little ones, whatever feels okay. Let's go the other way. Drawing a circle with your knee. Keeping that strength in the spine and back to center. Couple of breaths here. Shoulders are away from the ears. And we're going to alternate arms and legs. So one arm is coming forward and the opposite leg is going back. And we're keeping that length and the sort of strength in our core and our spine. And then we place that back down with control and gently. And let's go to the other side. Feeling like this is someone sort of pulling your leg and your arm at the same time. Back to center. Once more. With the breath if you can. Beautiful. So let's sit back now. Sitting back on our heels. We're going into what's called our gate pose. Fabulous pose for opening up our side body. So I'm turning around, but you can just do this whichever way on your mat. So we're on our little Knees, again, get a cushion or a blanket under those knees if that hurts. That's not uncommon. Getting a little bit of length in the spine here. Shoulders sort of tucked back. Getting comfy. So this should feel nice and solid and stable. And we're going to lift one foot out to the side. Foot sort of facing perpendicular, like facing the way your body and hips are facing. And we're just going to lean in towards that leg again. So another side stretch, micro bend in that knee. So we're just bending over here. This is a beautiful opener for the side of the hip, side of your ribs. Breathe out tension. And as we come to center, we go the other way. And you don't have to go all the way to ground if this doesn't feel right to you. If you would like a bit of support, you can get a block, or you just go on your little tippy fingers. Looking up to the sky if that feels okay for you, or down at your hand. And slow with control in your breath, go the other way. So foot comes out, facing the same direction as our hips. We're just going to slide our hand down there, a little micro bend in the knee, bringing that arm over. Yeah. Back to center. And we'll go all the way to the ground if you can, or just a little bend here. Little tip of fingers. Lovely. Looking up. Maybe looking down. And back to center. Gorgeous. Gate pose. And then just coming back to tabletop once more. So hands and knees, neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes here, lift the hips, round the shoulders into down dog. Maybe a little pedal. Pushing our shoulder blades sort of towards our thighs here. You might even need to bend the knees to get more height here. Creating a triangle shape. Should feel quite rejuvenating. A couple of big breaths. And then from here, we're going to lift the right leg and pull that leg through if you can. If you can't, just walk it up or lift it up so the leg comes up. This back foot gets placed down on the ground and we're going to lift up into our lunge. So this is warrior one with a sort of straight leg at the back, slight angle. It's not fully facing, the feet aren't fully perpendicular, but there's a little angle on the back foot here to keep that leg straight. Hips are facing the front, nice and square. And we're just going to inhale our arms up, keeping the bent leg here, weight in our front leg. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands come halfway. And then on the next inhale, we open up the heart center, lift the chin, and exhale, round the spine, looking down. That feels good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down to halfway. Inhale, arms come out, open the chest. Exhale to round the spine, looking down. And then we basically put our hands down to the ground. And we're bringing that foot back to the back foot. Downward dog once more. And this time we're lifting the left leg. And you can carry it through, step it through, just bring that foot through. Plant that back heel a little bit. Bent leg at the front, lift our hands up. Now hips here should be nice and square. This should feel quite stable. The back leg is straight. We're just going to lift our arms up. Exhale, arms come down to halfway. Inhale, hands open out the chest. Exhale, round the shoulder blades, around the chest, keeping the stability. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down halfway. Last one. Inhale. Exhale to round. And let's let those hands come down. So hands come to ground once more. Feet come back into plank. Just going to feel nice and strong and give yourself some gratitude here. Little push up to the ground, elbows in, untuck the toes, and have a little rest. So from here, let's just bring our hands out into sort of like a cactus. We're just going to bring up the chest here, sort of contracting the back muscles, so bringing up the chest. On the inhale, exhale. Let's do that again. Hands come back, almost like squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale to come down. And on the next inhale, you might even like to try a shoulder stretch here. So while the arm is in that right angle position, we're just going to lift the body over one side here. So we're sort of supporting our weight to open up that bottom shoulder. Beautiful shoulder opener. If you want to go all the way, depending on your shoulder mobility, you can even support your knee at the back. Let's go the other way. Nice opener for your shoulder, the front of the shoulder. And back to center here, taking rest once more. Hands come under the shoulders. We're just lifting back into our plank here. We're just going to do a little lunge twist. So we're going to bring one knee up. So say right knee comes up. This is just a little lunge here. Now finding that position that feels good for your hips. You don't have to go all the way. Just finding where it feels right for you. And then we're placing the opposite arm to the knee down on the ground. And we're doing a little twist here. And you might even like to lift the back leg off the ground. This should feel like a beautiful open twist. And then place the knee down, foot comes back. We'll swap sides, knee comes up. Find that position that feels okay. Lovely lunge. Should feel really nice on the hips. Opposite hand comes down. And we twist here and you can lift the back knee. Looking up if that feels okay. This twist should feel good. Knee comes down, hands come down, feet come together. Now we're going into child's pose, so that can be knees apart, feet together, or knees together if you prefer. Hips come down towards the ankles, and our hands come out, shoulders come towards the ground as if someone's pulling us and opening up our shoulder blades here. Energy into the earth. And then slowly calming up. Once more, hands and knees. Rounding the shoulders, lifting the hips into down dog. So maybe even another little pedal here. We're going to lift the right leg and pull that knee towards the wrist here. So we're pulling that knee through for a pigeon. So it's like the hip comes down towards the ground. Now, you can do a less intense version. You can support your hips here with a block. Just find where it feels comfy, not where it's sort of at the edge. You want to accept where we're at. So inhale to lift the chest and the shoulders. Exhale to fold over that bent knee. And hopefully you can support your head so that you can really just let go here for a moment. If it's on a block or a pillow, that's great, or even all the way to the ground, depending on what your hips are telling you. And then place both hands down, tuck the toes. Feet come back together, downward dog. And we'll do that one more time. This time the left leg comes through to be bent. Just a little wiggle here to adjust. So that hip, that back leg is sort of sliding back. You can have a big bend in the knee if you're really, flexing the hips, or just a little triangle. So inhale to straighten the spine. Exhale to fold over that bent leg. Maybe supporting your neck and head, or even coming all the way. Wonderful hip opener here. And supporting yourself to come up. Leg comes back, meets the other leg. Downward dog. So downward dog here, and then we're just going to look towards our hands, bend the knees, do some little steps, little baby steps to bring the legs all the way up. And we're just going to roll the spine really slowly all the way up to stand vertebrae by vertebrae. Rolling the shoulders back last. Tucking the core, maybe a little stretch here. You might even like to do a little side to side. That should feel good. Feeling really spacious here, hopefully. And we're just going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, arms come down. Just noticing that movement. A little micro bend in the knees. We'll do that one more time. And exhale, arms come down. So let's bring our feet together a little bit closer here. Not all the way together. Just going to feel the weight in the ground. We're just going to do a little balance pose. So it's called flamingo because we're lifting one arm up and we're just going to try and grab the foot at the back here and pushing the weight into, so it's like a quad stretch actually. So you can feel the little wobbles. Even tucking the pelvis a little bit deepens how that feels in the quad. And let go with control, and we'll go the other way. Grabbing the foot at the back. If you can't grab the foot, it's okay. You could use a wall actually, or a strap. Tucking the pelvis deepens that feeling, and exhale with control. And while we're in this beautiful accepting place, let's take a moment and we'll try and do one chair pose. So arms come round, sinking back. It's almost like it simultaneously opens up the calves, the thighs. And looking up if you can, or just straight ahead. Hands to heart center. Another big breath here. Feeling how alive your body is. And I'm going to leave you here with one namaste, but I implore you to just take a moment to really notice your body. Maybe meditate if you can. But I'm going to bow and say thank you for joining me. Namaste.